Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Unity of Bellevue, the place where we know and we practice the spiritual truth that God is good and all is well, that we are not at the effect of appearances, we are at the effect of the infinite mind and heart of God. We are here to learn, to grow, to serve. We are here to love. We have been called forth from that infinite essence to be here on earth, to become more and more of that infinite essence. We are here to love one another, to love God, to love ourselves, to grow in our spiritual understanding, and to serve the greater good. So that's the vibe that we are here at Unity. Welcome to it, and welcome to our community. We are it's August, you guys. I don't know. I'm in a whole different thing. I'm in a whole different place. Here in August, we are taking a look at what do we stand for? Who are we? We're getting ready to reopen our building. This is a great time to kind of re-anchor in who we are, what our purpose is, what our mission is, why we are, why do we exist as a community. And today I want to take a look at our founding spiritual principle number 1, infinite presence, infinite God, infinite being. That's all there is. So we'll be taking a deep dive here in a little bit with what that means, and not just what it means, but what are the implications for our everyday lives. As we prepare to do that, though, we've got some folks who are supporting us this morning. Our our meditation facilitator was Lori Coleman. She did a terrific job. Give Lori some love. Really, such a beautiful opportunity to center in our purpose. That was really powerful for me, Lori. Thank you. The idea of, centering in purpose and breathing out, being willing and open to the presence. That was really a great meditation for me, Lori. Thank you. So Lori is also one of our prayer chaplains. Our prayer chaplains are here to be in prayer for you. That is their purpose. So you can submit a prayer request online from our website. They will pray for you. So when our building reopens, you'll be able to join Prayer Circle with them again very, very soon. Looking forward to that. And they are happy to, if you want a phone call, just put that in your prayer request and they would be happy to call you and to pray with you. So today, however, there is no prayer circle. Typically there is a prayer circle after service. I know most of you know that. There is no prayer circle today because it's the first Sunday of the month, and the first Sunday of the month is Q&A Sunday. It's your chance to ask anything you want to know about our center or about what's going on around here. And so stick around for that after the service. Meanwhile, we also have this morning our producer, our all-around go-to person, Monica McDowell-Elvig. Happy to have you with us. Our board host today is Susan Neidig. Really grateful to have you with us. Really grateful to have all y'all with us. And then our guest artist today is Leah Morris. Now, we've actually had Leah several times recently. She's from the Baltimore area, and we are importing her in via videos. And pretty soon we're going to be back in our sanctuary. And, we don't know how much we're going to be able to really use that anymore. So we're kind of like using Leah a lot right now because she is terrific. And the energy and the essence that she brings to her music is something else again. So please welcome in consciousness our guest artist, Leah Morris, this morning with her first song.
Hello, beautiful today. Hello, beautiful now. Hello, beautiful sunshine, honey. I love you and how. Hello, beautiful me. Hello, perfect right here. Hello, wonderful day that's waiting. Goodbye, doubt and fear. Hello, beautiful today. Hello, beautiful now. Hello, beautiful sunshine, honey. I love you and hello, hello. Hello, beautiful me. Hello, perfect right here. Hello, wonderful day that's waiting. Goodbye, feel. Bye-bye now. Hello, beautiful today. Let the sunshine. Hello, beautiful now. Let the sunshine. Hello, beautiful sunshine. I love you and how. Hello, beautiful. Let the sunshine. Hello, perfect right here. Let the sunshine. Hello, wonderful day that's waiting. Set out and feel. Bye-bye now. Hello, beautiful day.
And so breathe that in. Hello. Beautiful day, beautiful world, beautiful universe, beautiful planet. We live and move and have our being in the infinite presence of beauty, in the infinite presence of love, in the infinite presence of perfect right here. And we simply allow ourselves to open our minds to this truth right here and right now as we prepare to gather in spiritual community, to receive, to give, to surrender to all that the infinite presence has for us this morning. I know that each heart is ready to receive, each heart is willing to express. And so it's in this awareness that I simply declare a blessing on our time together today. I know it is good. The music, the message, the fellowship we share, everything conspiring to wake us up, to wake us up to more and more of who God would have us be, what God would have us be. I open this service with a grateful heart, and so it is. Amen. I'm going to read through our affirmation. I invite you to simply be receptive, open and willing, as Lori said in our meditation this morning. Allow yourself to be receptive, open, and willing to hear the power and the truth of these words. I live, move, and have my being in the powerful presence of the living one. Wholeness, beauty, and grace effortlessly express in my life as I say yes to the divine flow of this presence as me. And so it is. Breathing that in, accepting, allowing. As you prepare to speak these words with me, this short prayer with me, with conviction, please join me. I live, move, and have my being in the powerful presence of the living one. Wholeness, beauty, and grace effortlessly express in my life as I say yes to the divine flow in this presence as me. And so it is.
Feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. A long way from home. Sometimes I feel like I'm almost gone. Sometimes I feel like I'm almost gone. Sometimes I feel like I'm almost gone. A long way from home. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. And the long way from home. I'm gonna sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes when the spirit says to march around. Sometimes when the spirit says motherless child. And watch the walls come tumbling down. I'm gonna sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes when the spirit says to march around. Sometimes when the spirit says motherless child. And watch the walls come tumbling down.
Ah, I was so thrilled to watch this video when Leah sent it to me earlier this week, because it's the perfect overlay of what life is like. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child, man. Sometimes life is just really super, super lonely, hard, dark, whatever it might be. And then sometimes I'm hearing the voice of God, and when the voice of God says sing, I'm going to sing. And when the voice of God says shout, I'm going to shout. And life is good and something wonderful is happening. And I love that she did this medley and she overlaid all of these feelings and experiences and attitudes all over one another, because that's what life is like. Sometimes I think in our teaching, we put so much emphasis on the good, which life is good. I'm not saying that life is not good and that God is not good. Ultimately, that is the truth. But I think we also forget sometimes that, you know, the dark side brings out a lot of that light. The parts of us that are uncomfortable, that are in pain, are the parts of us that push us to seek something greater. And so let's not forget that sometimes we feel like motherless children, and sometimes we can hear the voice of God telling us to shout, telling us to sing, telling us to march, and those walls come a-tumbling down. Lovely, Leah, thank you for that amazing medley. I wanted to talk today about what do we stand for? And I mean, what do we stand for as a community? What do we stand for as a teaching, Unity Worldwide Ministries? What do we stand for as a teaching? What do we stand for as individuals? You know, who really are we? And how does what do we stand for link to what we stand for as a community and what we stand for as a teaching? It feels like a pretty important question right now, because I think identity, like, you know, our collective identity is pretty scattered. And I mean us as a community, just because we haven't seen each other in 18 months, you guys. It's been 18 months we've been gathering online. And I think our community identity is a little bit scattered. We come on Sundays or we go and we do a class, but it's not the same as coming into the building and hanging out and being with one another. And so I think our community identity is a little bit scattered, but our collective identity as a nation and as a planet is also scattered. And I think that, you know, it's like consciousness is cause, right? And so like there's a scattered kind of consciousness happening, and it's just flowing down. That's all. It's just flowing down. Sometimes in my own living room right now, I feel a little scattered and not very focused and not very purposeful. And that was one of the reasons, Lori, I really appreciated your meditation this morning, like getting centered and getting purposeful. Oh my gosh, that is exactly what I needed. And so I've been thinking all week long, and even a little longer than that, about, you know, what really do we stand for as individuals, as a community, and here on planet Earth. And one of the things that I thought of was, you know, have you ever had one of those moments where you just had to stand up? Have you ever had a stand moment? Sometimes it's something someone says or a speech. I remember hearing a performance of the Carmina Burana once, and honestly, the entire audience was like, we were on the edge of our seats. And the last note rang out, and there was a second of silence, and the entire room sprung to their feet. It was a stand-up moment. It was a moment in which there was such a sense of unification and unity that we were so connected. We had had a shared experience, and something in us had been stirred up, and we came up as one. We came up in an experience of unification. I heard somebody speak once. I had a really similar experience where I couldn't stay in my seat. Have you ever had a moment like that? And I'm not talking about just like, I'm talking metaphorically too, about what do we stand for? Because, you know, if there's some reason you can't stand, I'm talking about that feeling of just being lifted into something greater, into a greater sense of unification, and our chest comes out, and there's a sense of pride and belonging and connection and community, and we just feel like, this was an experience. This was meaningful to me. And when I say, what do you stand for? I'm asking, what brings up that sense of unification, of connection, of commitment, of belonging, that an experience like rising up out of your seat at a powerful piece of music might do. I'm not sure that was a very good sentence, but I think you get the message. And so what do we stand for? You know, to stand, it has a lot of different meanings. You know, we stand on our feet. You know, we take a stand, an attitude, or a position about something. It's interesting to think about. Stand is also level. It stands at 100 feet. It stands at 10 feet. Stand is something we do. We can stand watch. We can set a microphone in a mic stand, so it's like a base or a support for something. We stand with one another when we are supporting one another. So this word, it has many different meanings, and I feel like they're all important here and applicable here. You know, how is what we believe, how is what unity teaches a stand, a base, a support for something else? How is what we believe, how does what we believe compel us to take a stand for others? How does what we believe lift us in consciousness or cultivate a certain attitude in us? So all of these ways of thinking about what do we stand for feel important and relevant to me. Our book of the month this month is The 5 Principles. This book, written by Ellen Davenport, elucidates the 5 unity principles, and it's a good one. If you don't have a copy of this, get your hands on a copy of it, because this is what you belong to. And Ellen Davenport, Reverend Ellen, does a great job here of really going deep with each one of our 5 principles. And today, I want to talk specifically about the first principle, which is, you know, you guys hear me say this a million times a day. Let me get to the right page. A million times a week anyway. The first principle, the first unity principle. This is something that we stand for as a teaching and as a community. God is all there is. Everything is an emanation of the energetic of the one life. God is all there is. And, you know, Reverend Ellen says here, she says, you know, we got to get a God for grown-ups. I love this notion. God for grown-ups. Here's what she says, God for grown-ups. You're recognizing God is all there is, an infinite presence, an infinite energetic is a God for grown-ups. God for grown-ups, according to Reverend Ellen, is a God that meets us where we are, welcomes our questioning, growing, changing, and doubting. God for grown-ups welcomes our challenges, welcomes our questioning moments, I don't get it, I don't understand. Is this really the way the world works? I'm not sure I believe anymore. I don't know. This has been a really tough time for me and I'm making it through, but I don't know if I really believe. God for grown-ups welcomes our questioning, our growing, our changing, our doubting. This God meets us where we are. You see, when we think of God, actually, no, I'm going to talk about that later. So God for grown-ups meets us where we are and welcomes our doubt and our questioning. Secondly, she says, God for grown-ups is more than Santa Claus, right? I love that. Anybody know about the Santa Claus God? I know about the Santa Claus God. It's like, yeah, you know, that brings us presents and grants answers to prayers, you know, if I'm good. But if I'm bad, sorry, you're out. Santa Claus God is surely not that infinite presence, that infinite energy from which all things spring. And so God for grown-ups is not a Santa Claus God. Thirdly, she says, God for grown-ups is a God that is an intuitive presence in our lives. It's so interesting to me. We seek the divine because it's calling us, because we are an emanation of that energetic, and because it is deep within, and our human consciousness, our human conditioning can overwhelm our experience of that deep, still, small voice, that intuitive presence that is within us, that is calling us forth, that is calling us to express it more and more of its energy. And so God for grown-ups is actually involved in our daily lives, not sitting up on a cloud, just kind of like, you know, when I get desperate and pray hard enough, God is there for me. God for grown-ups is always within, always present. Charles Fillmore said this. He said, I love this. He says, he's quoted the Moses God. He says, the Moses God, he, it's interesting. Charles Fillmore says he, God is a he. You know, for his time, that was probably appropriate. I think now of God as more of an it, because it's an energy, it's an essence, it has no gender, it is beyond gender. Yes, it is he, but it's also she, and it's also it, and it's also they, and it's also them, and it's also energy. I mean, energy doesn't have a gender, right? But of his time, it was, I mean, it makes sense to me that in his time, Charles Fillmore would say he. He says, God is he who is, who was, who will be manifest. God is that which was, which is, which will be manifest. So it's essentially the eternal energy, he's saying, that manifests in form. You know, God is a pen, God is a book. Believe it or not, God is even an iPhone. And I'm not saying that the iPhone is my God. It's some people's God, but not my God. But the energy, the essence of the phone is created from the energy of the infinite. He says, Charles Fillmore said, God is the self-existent one, the eternal one. Ernest Holmes put it this way. He said, God is the self-existent cause. So Fillmore said self-existent one, self-existent cause from Holmes. And so it simply exists. It simply is. It's an energy. An energy, you know, I mean, most energy we can't even see, right? It's just, it's an energetic, it's a vibration, it's a presence that was, is, and will be, which is what the burning bush or the voice of God said to Moses as he stood and said in front of the burning bush, who shall I say sent me to free my people from slavery in Egypt? Who shall I say sent me? I am that I am. The Hebrew is, I have been what I have been. I am what I am. I will be what I will be. Clearly, Charles Fillmore had been checking out the Hebrew. So God is this self-existent energy, this eternal energy that is forever in expression. Myrtle Fillmore said it this way. She said, God is life, source, light. And I claim my birthright. I love her so much. She's all about the practicality of it, right? God is life. God is source. God is light. And I claim my birthright. I'm created in its image and likeness. I am life. I am source. I am light. Claim your birthright. Infinite energy, infinite presence. Thank you, Myrtle. Now, Ellen Davenport in the book, she talks about this idea that, you know, actually, let me read you what she says. Are we allowed to make up our own God? Of course. It's called theology, the study of the divine and its relationship to the world. Of course we can make up our own God. That's all anybody has ever done. In metaphysical Bible class, we've been talking a little bit about this. You know, the idea that we can ever know the infinite is a pretty naive idea. Because I don't know about you, but my mind is not infinite, my human mind. Now I know that my human mind is connected to the infinite. And so there's a sense in which I can have the intangible experience of infinity through my prayer, through my meditation, through those stand moments, those rise up moments. There is a part of me that can have that experience, but I can never rationally comprehend all of infinity. And so I can never fully and rationally comprehend all of God. And so I study it and I make it up because I can never know fully what it is. She goes on to say, what kind of God could not handle the questions of pipsqueak humans? Come on, people, our God is bigger than that. She says, even an ordinary parent can withstand the rebellion and backtalk of her children as they separate themselves from home and family and later return in new adult relationships. Like even a human mom can withstand the challenges and the questioning of a parent that we do of our parents. So yes, we make up our own God. No, not only can we, it's all we've ever done. Everything you read, the great philosophers, the great spiritual teachers, the Catholic Church, the Lutheran Church, this church, that church, we're all just making up our own theology. We are just taking stabs and guesses at what the nature of this infinite energy might be and how we can apply it in our lives. And what's super cool about that is that there's a God for everybody. There's a God for everybody. And you get to create that God for you. And I get to create that God for me out of the infinite potential of the universe. Now remember, this energy, we're just individualizing it, right? We're just personalizing God. We're not saying, I mean, God is this infinite energy, this infinite presence, I believe. That's the God I've made up. I might be wrong. What I believe is, and what Unity teaches and what Element Davenport is teaching is that this infinite energy, this that was, is, and will be, this self-existent one, this self-existent cause, is an infinite presence. It is omniscient. And here's what, oh gosh, I love what Ellen said about this. Let me see if I can find it quickly. She said, principle of one, the first unity principle, affirms that God is all there is. God is omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent. Not all powerful, but all power. Omnipotent means all power, not all powerful. Powerful is a human attribute. Power is an energy, a quality. So God is not all powerful, but all power. Not all knowing, but all knowledge. Not all knowing, but all knowledge, all intelligence, omniscient, all intelligence, the quality. You know, a human knows God is intelligent. God is omnipresent, present everywhere. This energy, this energetic is everywhere, right where we are. And so for me, I individualize the awareness of this presence as something within me that is all power, all knowing, all intelligence, all presence. And from this place, I make up the kind of good God that is a force for good in the world. From this place, because I've made it up, I can make up the very best God that I can. And this all power, all intelligent, all present God is the very best God I can think of. And here's the thing, remember, God doesn't mind if I start questioning. I'm going to evolve, I'm going to grow. My ideas of God have grown so much over the 62 years of my life. I'm going to continue to evolve and grow those ideas. I'm going to make up the very best God I can possibly make up, because that is the God I take a stand for. That is the God I take a stand for. God that is absolute good, all present, all being, all energy, all love. That is the God that I take a stand for. Charles Fillmore said, you are alive and you won't live very long unless you make contact with the spiritual side of your nature. I love this. People who think they live a span of life and call that living are not living at all. There is a great, substantial, eternal life right here present. And the object of our existence is to make contact with that life. He says the object of our existence is to make contact with that inner being, that essential essence, that energetic that we call love, that we call power, that we call grace, that we call beauty. So we feel into that awareness and realize that we've made up the very best God we know how. And tomorrow, we're going to grow a little more. We're going to evolve a little more. We're going to expand a little more. And we are going to make up an even better God. Now, there are some things to think about if we think about this God as infinite oneness, okay? Infinite presence, infinite energy. We have said, I take a stand for God, who is an energetic that is life affirming. And when I look around my world, my daily life, there are implications. This is where the rubber meets the road. It's easy to talk in theory. It's easy to talk theology, right? I mean, we sit around the table and talk theology. It's fun. It's interesting. It's easy. We get some new ideas, right? We challenge one another. Our ideas can expand and grow. But where it really counts is in how you live your life. In this universe in which God is all there is only one thing happening. And that one thing is at the heart of me. It's at the heart of you. It's the heart of the person sitting next to you. It's at the heart of the coffee cup. It's at the heart of the book. It's at the heart of the iPhone. This energy is at the heart of the planet. The flowers in my garden, the dog sitting in the chair, the cat's upstairs hiding from the dog. This infinite energy is in, through, and as all things. This is God. Do we treat these things as though they were God? Do we honor and respect these things as though they were that infinite presence? Are we loving toward all things, all people? Are we inclusive? God is certainly all inclusive. You see, what's his name? Charles Fillmore just told us the object of our existence is to make contact with that life. The reason you are here is to make contact with that greater something, that greater energy, to learn and grow in it. And the strategy for being that is to be more godlike. If God is love, you got to be love. If God is omnipotent, all power, you got to be all power. If God is omniscient, all knowing, all intelligence, you got to be all intelligence. And I'm not meaning that like you know everything in your head. I'm meaning that like you're willing to embody an aspect of or a quality of a presence and live from that place in the world. And the presence that I believe is the biggest, our deepest call is to live from the presence of God as love. God as love. This God that we've made up is a God of love. In this universe in which, in this universe that is governed by the God of love, we must be more loving. We must be more inclusive. We must be more present to the pain of others. We must care for the planet. We must recognize that Black lives really do matter. And yes, you guys, absolutely. In a universe of love, all life matters, not just human life, but animal life, plant life, the planet life, it all matters, absolutely. And right now, where there is a whole bunch of exclusion happening is in the realm of race. And what would love do? It would acknowledge that this life matters. This Black life matters. What would love do? It would recognize that women's rights are human rights. I saw that sign the other day. Have you seen the yard sign, Black Lives Matter, women's rights are human rights? What is it? No one is illegal. No one is illegal. In the mind and in the body and in the heart of God, there is one life. And when we descend to the realm of form, we might make pronouncements like this person is an illegal alien. Well, I mean, technically, if I look at the paperwork, that might be true. But when we hold it, and I'm not saying that there aren't people who are who are immigrants or who may be in this country illegally. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that if we all are born of the heart of the God of love, love recognizes that person as a person first and an immigrant second. And we do for that person what God would do. We put on the mind of the infinite and we do for that collective what God would do. It's humans that are exclusive, not God. You know, what do you stand for? See, you know, the sign, it says love is love, right? Love is love. And Ernest Holmes told us the God of love cannot hear the prayer of the one who fails to love. I'm going to say that again. The God of love cannot hear the prayer of the one who fails to love. God can't hear your prayers if they're not coming from a place of love. You see, this opportunity that we have to put on the mind of God, as the Apostle Paul told us, we put on the mind of God. Then we begin to act from love. We begin to move through this world from a place of love, and we recognize we have not just an obligation, but an opportunity to care for the planet because it's God. We have an opportunity to care for the people around us because they're God. We have an opportunity to recognize that what I do, golden rule, right? What I do to others, I do to myself. And when I exclude others, when I say somebody's life doesn't matter, when I say caring for the planet doesn't matter, I'm excluding someone from my reality of the body of God. And that's where we get an opportunity to take a stand for something bigger, to take a stand for a bigger idea. It's always interesting to me to think about how we get in the world around, we get in opposition to things. And my invitation to you is to not step out in opposition, I'm against this, I'm against that, but to step forward in advocacy for the lives and for the inclusion of people of color in our culture and in our society and in our institutions. I'm inviting you to step forward in an attitude of advocacy for the rights of women, for the rights of children, for the rights of immigrants. You know, there's plenty to go around in the mind and in the body of God, the infinite presence. There is plenty to go around. We need not limit ourselves. And when we anchor in infinite love, the God of love hears our prayers for connection, for equity, for inclusion, for beauty, for love. And we take a stand for love. And all of our advocacy flows out of that. And we're engaging in loving in a life-affirming way. We're engaging in advocacy in a life-affirming way, rather than creating opposition. We're talking about inclusion. We're talking about love. We're talking about recognizing we are all connected. And you know, I kind of hate to say a little bit, I'm going to say this and then I'm going to qualify it. We are all connected. And when I hurt someone else or something else through careless behavior or intentionally, I'm hurting myself, right? But that's not why I don't do it. You see, sometimes we get caught up in the idea that, well, you know, do unto others, you would have them do unto you. You know, the God of love is not a God of, you know, tit for tat. We don't do the right thing because we're doing it to us. We do the right thing because it's the right thing to do, because it is the call of the God of love, that still small voice within us that wants nothing more than to express, is saying, be love, be love. Express love, be the energy of love. Oh, heavens. And we've also been talking about this in the metaphysical Bible class. It's been a great class. We've been talking about the idea of evil because, you know, bad things do happen. Bad things do happen. But, you know, it's pretty interesting to me to think about evil. There's a few things to think about. Like, if God is good, then where do these bad things come from? And if our teaching is that God is infinite energy and infinite presence and God is love, well, why does bad stuff happen? Why does Liam have to overlay this song of sometimes I feel like a motherless child and then God tells me to, you know, sing and I sing, like life is good? Why does it happen this way? And, you know, we could spend a lot of time talking about this because I don't think we really know. What I do know, what I do believe is that ultimately God is neutral. God isn't love. God isn't not love. God is love because we say God is love. The energy, the energetic presence of the universe is ultimately neutral. It's just energy. And we direct the energy toward love or toward separation, toward unity or toward separation. God, that's why we can make up our own God, right? Like, not only can we have to. And that's why there's, you know, a description of God for pretty much any human being on the planet. You see, we were put on this earth, we were created with free will, and so we can create pain if we choose. We can create darkness if we choose. We can do that. We can also wake up to the spiritual truth of who we are and what we belong to and begin to project more love. So the question of evil is always a really interesting thing for me. The other thing I often think about is, you know, I like to label things. It's good or it's bad, right? It's right or it's wrong. But those are dualities. The God of love is a God of oneness. And some of the things that I might call bad or that I might call evil today, I might see differently. I mean, I have that experience in my life. Things that when I was in the midst of it, I called it evil. I called it bad. I look back and I'm like, of course it wasn't evil. Of course it wasn't bad. It was what it was. And it has given me the gifts that I have today. And, you know, human beings, we're beautiful people. I love us, but we're not the most mature species sometimes, I think. And with this thing called free will, we can create experiences. We can use the neutral energy of the universe to create experiences that are not life affirming for everyone. But we do that. Evil is not a presence or a personification of the infinite. It's a result of human error. It's a result of human error. And then we learn and we grow and we deepen in God as we answer that internal push to recognize the truth of who we are, to recognize the energetic that is the presence within us. And we move forward boldly. It's always interesting to me. We never ask, well, if God is all there is, why is there good in the world? We only ask, if God is all there is, why is there evil in the world? Well, God is all there is, and there's good in the world because humans created it. God is all there is, and there's evil in the world because humans created it. We are not at the mercy of opposing forces. God is good, the devil is bad, and we're just in the middle of this big thing. We are not at the mercy of opposing forces. We are having our being in the presence of an infinite energetic that is love because we say it is love. Take a stand for that. Allow that stand to support your life. Allow that stand for love to define your beingness. And see if your life doesn't just shine forth with a brighter light than you've ever known. Take a stand for love. and do what love would do, say what love would say, think what love would think. Consciousness is cause. As we cultivate the mind of love, as we cultivate the mind of love, more and more love manifests in our lives. So let's practice a little bit in consciousness. I invite you to take the sacred breath with me as we turn within and begin to cultivate a stand for love. We begin to cultivate an understanding that the infinite essence, the infinite energy that we call God is a God of love. For what we wish to experience in the world is more and more love. And so we cultivate a loving consciousness. We take a stand for love. We allow that stand to direct our actions in the world. Allow yourself now to be lifted in love, to remember a time when you felt unconditionally loved. Just bring that to mind. A time when you knew that you were deeply loved just because. And breathe into that feeling. Breathe into that awareness. And begin to recognize that that experience exists. And so love must exist. And so you can step boldly into an awareness of greater love. You have had this experience of unconditional love, and it abides at the center of your being. You carry it with you wherever you go. And it is available at need. All you need to do is say, love. Oh, there you are. Thank you. I've taken a stand for love. I remember love. I direct the neutral energy of the infinite in the direction of love. Breathing it in. Centered and focused. Breathe out, open and willing. And begin to see this life of love unfolding around you, for you recognize and you know the spiritual truth. There is only one life. That life is God's life, and that life is love. See yourself taking a stand for love in the world. What must you do? What must you be? Simply breathe it in and find yourself willing to do and to be all of that and more as you walk in the consciousness of one life, one love. And so I close this message with a grateful heart, knowing that we have been transformed by this sacred and holy time together, that we take a stand for love together as individuals and as a community, knowing that God is good and all is well. And so it is. Amen.
Love, will you guide my feet? Love, would you light my path? Love, lead the way.
Well, thank you, Rev Marlon. Let's take a stand for love and that beautiful music from Leah. This is the time in our celebration service when we focus on giving in financial support of our center. And if our teachings, if you're new to our community or our teachings are new to you, I want to set your mind at ease. These spiritual principles are free. And the only thing we would like to receive from you this morning is a way to connect with you so we can learn more about how we can serve you. So connect with us, go to our website, unityofbellevue.org, and click on Contact and send us some information and we will get back to you. For those of us that call this our spiritual home, we engage in giving as a spiritual practice. Our financial gifts to the center represent our commitment to waking up, to creating a vibrant and thriving spiritual community. As we love, grow, and serve together, it's easy for us to remember that God is our source and that we give because God gives, because we've received so abundantly that we cannot wait to share with the source of our spiritual inspiration. So in this consciousness, please join me as we declare our offering affirmation together. I give freely, and for the joy of giving, I know that seeds sown in love produce an overflowing harvest of good for me, for this center, and for all people. Lovingly I give, joyfully I receive, and so it is.
And I give thanks for these gifts. I know that they are joyfully given and that we responsibly and intelligently turn this money into powerful ministry in our community. I am so very grateful. I claim a blessing on the gift, on the giver, and on the good that is done. And so it is. Amen. Hi, everybody. I'm starting our announcements today because I want to ask you a couple of questions. I want to get some feedback from you. If you attended our community meetings we had a few weeks ago, we were talking in those meetings about what was our building reopening plan. And we do have a plan. It evolved a little bit based on your feedback from those meetings. And so what I want to do right now is share with you the current state of our reopening plan and just get some further feedback from you. We're going to start by giving you an opportunity to look at my precious dog, just because I have the power to do that. That's Molly. Next, however, here's our building opening plan. The projected dates: Sunday, August 15th. That's 2 weeks from today. Our building will open for youth and family program activities in October. We're not sure of the exact date yet. Our plan is to have in the sanctuary 3 to 4, probably 3 round tables down the south side for families. That is, families have priority for those spaces. If they are not filled with families, then you can certainly take a seat there. The idea is that because we don't have a youth program right now, that our families can go ahead and bring their kids, and that they would have, there's little activity packets on the table, and the kids would have a chance to engage in some of those activities just to kind of keep themselves engaged during the service. In the sanctuary, rows down the north side, they're spaced 6+ feet apart. We've done a little test and it looks pretty good in there right now. There's a volunteer team coming together early next week to actually get everything all set up. We will continue as we had started to do way back 18 months ago, right before we closed. We had started inviting people down to the front to actually give their offering rather than passing for the offering. So we'll continue to do that at least for a little bit. Also, in the fellowship hall, the idea is we'll have our round tables. They'll be spaced much further apart. We will have coffee and tea service only. Prepared treats like store-bought and prepared and brought in, we might also do. We'll just kind of see what happens with that. Masking, we will be asking that masks are mandatory for unvaccinated individuals. That's on the honor system. They're mandatory for volunteers and staff, mandatory for kids age 5 to 11 who are not yet eligible for vaccination, and they're optional for everybody else. This is based on the guidance that we can see, such as it is right now. We will have a sticker system. A green sticker means I'm ready for that hug now, come on in. A yellow sticker means, yeah, I need a little bit of distance. Let's bump elbows. Let's not get too close. Red is I'm keeping my space, stay 6 feet away. And a blue sticker means I'm fully vaccinated. You'll have a chance when you come in the door, the stickers will be right there. You can stick yourself up. And so that would be the system for communicating to people pretty quickly what your desires are. So we have some volunteer opportunities, hospitality, usher and greeter teams, sound booth, and live streaming. So that is the current building reopening plan. Now that I've shared that with you, I have a question for you. I actually have 3 questions for you. So I'm gonna do a poll. What I want to invite you to do is, respond to these polls. Carol S. says to everyone singing, yes, yes, singing. In the context of those guidelines, okay? So let me ask you please to respond to these polls. Given, let me find it. What I wanna know is who's actually gonna come? With this plan in effect, will you attend on Sundays in our building? And if you're not local, I know we have, some folks from Ohio and some folks from far away. If you're not local, please vote no. With this plan in effect, will you volunteer once a month on Sundays in our building? And if you said yes to volunteering, in what areas would you like to serve? So I'm launching the poll right now. I invite you to please give me some responses. Will you attend on Sundays in our building? We will also continue to live stream. I think I forgot to say that. We are going to continue to live stream. We have a plan for that. So you can attend still virtually, but not in our building. And I see that Pat Higgins has a question. Is she able to unmute herself, Monica? I don't know if she can or not.
She can now.
I have a question. I was raising my hand. I did it wrong.
Oh, okay, great. So answer the poll for me, will ya? Click on some stuff. Thank you, Pat. All right. I got 41 people at least in the room, so I know I want somewhere around that many answers. This is great, you guys. Thank you. I'm going to give you another 15 seconds to answer the poll. Please click on your responses. And I'm going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I'm going to end the poll now. Last chance, get it in there. All right. I've ended the poll. Thank you very much for that information. We will keep you posted. So our current plan is to open on August 15th, and we will keep you posted as to how things are going and what needs to happen, and we'll be reaching out to you too. And I know we've been doing some reaching out, but we'll continue to reach out to you about volunteer opportunities. Stick around for the Q&A, which is about 3 minutes after the service ends. Meanwhile, Monica has a few more announcements for you. And Monica, what do you got?
Good morning and welcome to Unity of Bellevue. We're so glad that you are here. If you are new, we invite you to go to our website, unityofbellevue.org, and at the bottom of every page is a sign-up form for our weekly e-newsletter. That's the best way to stay in touch with us, especially as we're transitioning to hybrid services. We're still online right now, but we're in transition. So stay up to date with everything. Reach out to us if you have any questions about Unity of Bellevue. We'd love to hear from you. Our prayer chaplains will be back next Sunday following service for our virtual prayer circle. In the meantime, if you have any prayer requests, please feel free to email them at prayerchaplains@unityofbellevue.org. If you would like one of them to talk with you or to pray with you on the phone, please put that in your message. Living What Matters meets this Wednesday at 1 p.m. with Reverend Marla. We're following the Book of Soul by Mark Nepo, starting a new spiritual practice, learning a new spiritual practice each week. The Zoom link and all of the links for everything is in the chat and will be in the comments on Facebook as well. So show up. It's a drop-in free group. Why not? We'll see you Wednesday at 1.
We are having a good start back to school drive again for Bellevue School District. The link for donating dollars is in the chat. You can also bring new backpacks. Just arrange that with me, or you can bring that on the 15th, when we are open. And just a quick note that Sabrina did have her baby boy, Ben, and we are celebrating with all of them. Have a blessed week. Bye.
Oh my gosh, everybody. Hey, we are going to close with one more song from Leah Morris. Then we'll take a little 3-minute break and we'll come back for the Q&A. So have a great week. I got a few messages in the chat that some of you weren't able to submit your poll. Please, would you please email us at info@unityofbellevue.org and let us know what your intentions are. It looks like quite a few of you, for one reason or other, couldn't submit. I don't know why that is. Let us know what your plan is by emailing us at info@unityofbellevue.org. All right, let's hear from Leah one more time, and then I'll see you at the Q&A. Bye, everybody.
When I wake up in America, I see my neighbors there with every type of clothes and shoes, hats and skin and hair, every fine belief and custom. Scores of songs from who knows where. When I wake up in America, our stories fill the air. Wake up, despierta. Wake up, despierta. Wake up in America. The light in the harbor shines for us all. When I wake up, I see the kids playing happily swaying. It's good to be staying in a place like this, with a face like this. When I wake up in America, I put away my fear, and I love my neighbor as myself. And I say, I'm glad that you're here. We have found ourselves together in a land we dream could be. When we wake up in America, everybody will be free. Wake up, despierta. Wake up, despierta. Wake up, please, America. The light in the harbor shines for us all. When I wake up, when you wake up, when we wake up in America.
See you in 3 minutes, everybody.
Oh, 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 yeah, hey, shine on me. May the light of the Spirit shine on me. May the light of the Spirit shine on you. As God's grace and love make this a brighter world, may the light of the Spirit shine on